President Joe Biden and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen taking something of a victory lap today, riding high on the latest GDP data. The economy grew at 3.3%. That's the annual pace in the fourth quarter, faster than expectations of around 2%. Here's what the president had to say on the latest numbers today.
Well, thanks to the American people, America now has the strongest growth, the lowest inflation rate of any major economy in the world. It's because of you. We obviously have more work to do, but we're making real progress, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up and not the top down.
Rick Newman is here to talk about this. Hey, Rick, are voters buying what he's selling here?
They might be opening their ears a little bit to it. We've been talking about this for a long time because Biden seems to be getting no credit for the things that are going right in the economy, and he's been getting a lot of blame for what's going wrong, which namely has been inflation. But we are finally seeing a little bit of uptick, which we've been talking about here on Yahoo Finance the past few days, in consumer confidence. The Michigan survey had a big jump in the latest reading, probably because people finally are starting to think that inflation is on the way out. They're seeing gas prices come down, food prices are moderating, things are getting better. But this has not yet translated into any change in Biden's approval rating. It is still, I just looked at it, it's about 39%, which is close to the lowest of his entire presidency. And what happened with Biden's approval rating is it came down. It was around 50% before we had this bout of inflation, and it came down in direct proportion to inflation going up. So the inflation rate has come down. It's now well below, almost at 3%, almost back to normal, really. But Biden's approval rating has stayed very low. It has not shown any rebound at all so far. And Biden needs to get that up. He needs to get from 39, 40%. He needs to get that at least to 45%, I think, by election day to feel a little bit comfortable about getting reelected. So Biden's remarks today, he's been saying the same things for the last 2 or 3 years, pointing out what's going well with jobs and growth. And then he uses that phrase, we still have a lot of work to do, to refer to inflation, getting inflation further down. So the big question for the whole country is whether voters start to give him a little more credit for this during the next 10 months.
Is there anything, Rick, you think he could proactively do? Is there, a shift in strategy or messaging that you think would help maybe, lift that approval rating off the floor?
Messaging doesn't do the trick, really, because you can't tell people they should feel better than they do, because that just makes you seem like you're out of touch, like you don't know what it's like to have to pay the bills or to have to deal with hamburger or cereal costs that are up 15 or 20%, and you're trying to feed 3 or 4 kids. So messaging is not the answer. The Biden administration, however, has definitely been doing every single thing it can think of to try to get prices down. And one of the areas I've been covering is energy. I mean, they have been trying to get more oil onto the global market from everywhere they can, fairly stealthily in some cases, and that includes Iran, Venezuela, Guyana, places you would not normally associate with being U.S. allies, which they're not, at least certainly Venezuela and Iran are not. But they've been trying to get every drop of oil onto the markets they can, and they've kind of been succeeding. I mean, there is a lot of oil coming onto markets, including record U.S. oil production. Interestingly, you're not going to hear Biden brag that U.S. oil production is at record highs because he has to appease the climate lobby. But ironically, that's something that is actually working out for him because gas prices have been coming down.
Yeah, I agree, Rick. I don't think we'll see Biden take a victory lap on that one. But thank you for joining the show, Rick. Always love the insight.
Bye, guys.